Well, thank you, John. And I just want to add my welcome and thanks to all of you for being here tonight. It's great to be surrounded by so many heroes and friends. And it is now my honor to introduce the Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts. Chief Justice Roberts is the 17th Chief Justice and has served as Chief since September 29, 2005. Following his graduation from Harvard Law School, Chief Justice Roberts clerked for Judge Henry Friendly on the Second Circuit and for then Associate Supreme Court Justice William Rehnquist, who Chief Justice Roberts succeeded. Chief Justice Roberts also served as Principal Deputy Solicitor General and as an associate judge on the D.C. Circuit. We are very honored and grateful to have Chief Justice Roberts join us tonight, and I want to say we are grateful for the many occasions on which Chief Justice Roberts and the court have hosted LSC at the court during Chief Justice Roberts' tenure. We especially value these occasions because the Supreme Court and LSC are embodiments of and bulwarks for America's commitment to the rule of law. Now, we at LSC, of course, are proud to be celebrating our 50th anniversary, but I got to acknowledge that the court had a bit of a head start in its work on the rule of law. Congress created the court in the Judiciary Act of 1789, and it was in 1803 that the court decided Marbury versus Madison, establishing that it is the province and duty of the Judicial Department to say what the law is and to declare a legislative or executive act to be in violation of the Constitution. But interestingly, LSC's role and the court's work on the rule of law did converge 50 years ago. On July 25th, 1974, President Nixon signed the LSC Act, which of course brings us to our celebration here tonight and throughout the year. Now, just the day before, on July 24th, 1974, the court issued its decision in United States versus Nixon, in which, citing Marbury versus Madison, it held that the judiciary had the power to resolve a presidential claim of privilege as to materials subpoenaed for use in a criminal trial. So tonight, as we celebrate the rule of law and LSC's critical role in helping to make access to justice a reality for millions of Americans, we also celebrate the Supreme Court for its role in ensuring the rule of law. And we thank Chief Justice Roberts for his stewardship and for being with us to celebrate LSC's 50th anniversary. Please join me in welcoming John Roberts, United States Chief Justice.
Thank you all very much. And good evening. Thank you, President Flagg, and thanks also to John Levy and the board members and staff of the Legal Services Corporation. I am honored to participate in tonight's anniversary celebration, marking half a century of work by LSC to advance the principle of equal justice. Today marks the anniversary of another landmark event that shaped our nation's journey toward greater equality. On this day, 159 years ago, April 9, 1865, Confederate General Robert E. Lee contemplated his morning survey of the battlefield positions and rendered his judgment on the hopelessness of his army's predicament. It would be useless and therefore cruel, he told his lieutenants, to provide the further effusion of blood. Lee therefore arranged a meeting with Union General Ulysses S. Grant at the Appomattox, Virginia home of one Wilmer McLean with the view to surrender. Grant offered generous terms, which Lee quickly accepted. Victory in the war provided an opportunity to embark on the new birth of freedom that Lincoln foretold in his Gettysburg Address. The 14th Amendment, passed by the Senate on June 8, 1866, and ratified 2 years later, enshrined in our Constitution the guarantee of equal protection of the laws for all citizens. In an August 1866 speech, House Speaker Schuyler Colfax praised the amendment as the gem of the Constitution, as it placed the unfulfilled promise of the Declaration of Independence immutably and forever in our nation's foundational document. A nearly identical sentiment is chiseled above the front entrance to the Supreme Court building, equal justice under law. Now, for more than a century and a half, we as Americans have been challenged to give meaning and effect to the aspiration of equality under law. The road has been uneven, and we have not always agreed on what constitutes equality under law. But two things are clear. Equality under law remains a goal rather than a complete accomplishment, and equality under law requires lawyers. That is, of course, where the Legal Services Corporation comes in. For 50 years now, it is you, LSC lawyers and other volunteers, who have undertaken, in the words of LSC's enabling statute, to provide high-quality legal assistance to those who would be otherwise unable to afford adequate legal representation. As my late colleague and friend, Justice Antonin Scalia, said at your 40th anniversary celebration, equal treatment is perhaps the most fundamental element of justice, and in today's law-ridden society, denial of access to professional legal assistance is denial of equal justice. The government has a monopoly on access to many critical services. Anyone seeking an order of protection, a divorce, an adjustment to child custody arrangements, relief from a real estate foreclosure or eviction, or an appeal at the denial of government benefits must turn to some sort of tribunal, either a court or an agency. These types of legal representations are the bread and butter of the work you do. Now, many of those in need of help do not know any lawyers, and certainly a sizable segment of our society cannot afford a lawyer anyway. LSC grantees help fill that void, assisting their clients as they navigate the sometimes complex procedural and substantive requirements of our justice system. And because we litigate in an adversary system, legal aid lawyers not only provide a service to their clients, but also to judges and hearing officers as well, as they try to fairly resolve each case before them. Ask any trial judge about the value of hearing an effective presentation on both sides of an issue. Good lawyers are often relieved when a pro bono lawyer comes forward to advise a self-represented litigant. LSC grantees operate in every state, territory, and county in the country. Like most forms of public service, the work of legal aid lawyers is not a path to wealth or fame, but it is a path to making a meaningful contribution to our society and to the cause of equality and justice for all. And every lawyer, paralegal, legal secretary, or interpreter who has experienced the gratitude of a poor client in need, one who has finally found in you someone who will listen and help, receives a reward beyond riches. Congratulations to the Legal Services Corporation and its lawyers, grantees, and clients on 50 years of making a difference in the lives of millions of Americans. Thank you for your hard work, your professionalism, and your dedication to the cause of forming that more perfect union to which we as a nation have aspired since 1789. Congratulations on 50 years.